gentlemen. Put your tongue down, will you?
We want your soul.
It really is a time when all of us have got to start talking louder than ever. The rapid speed of, if you like, globalization for world government, world army, world central bank, world currency, world microchip population.
Don't be afraid.
No, be afraid. Be very afraid.
The important thing is to know where they want to take us.
They have to destroy the dollar, destroy the pound, destroy the old order while they've been building the new world order, this technological enslavement system.
The FBI is taking on $1 billion project to gather fingerprints, palm patterns, even digital pictures of faces. Eventually, it could expand to include iris patterns, face shape patterns, scars, even information about how you walk and talk. It's called biometrics.
We want your soul.
You can't handle the truth.
Time to Howl at the Wolves. It's Saturday night, June 13, 2026, or 2026. What did he say at the Bilderberg Group? As you like it. In studio, Black Sheep Studio with me, Keith Temple is out tonight, but his son, Daniel Temple, is here sitting co-pilot with me. How are you, Daniel?
Doing well. So happy to be here with you.
Really cool. Your first experience doing any type of broadcast show, and you have one of the most incredible guests you could ever be speaking to.
I mean, that is correct. This is my first time. Very excited, and I hope it is worthwhile.
This gentleman, our guest tonight, he's no stranger to a lot of people, and probably one of the most sought after guests ever. He's been on this show many times throughout the years. He's been in multiple, as far as in the political realm, with many different administrations. The best friend of the current president of the United States, the best-selling author of The Man Who Killed Kennedy, the case against LBJ, the Bush crime family, the Clintons' war on women. He is and he's a friend of the show. Roger Stone, welcome back to Earth.
Wow, it is so good to be back with you. Daniel, it's great to be with you. Chad, this is like old times. Now, to be honest with you, I don't normally do radio shows at 10 o'clock at night on a Saturday night, but for this, I had to make a special deal, and I'm glad to be with you. There's a lot to talk about. Struggle for freedom continues. The deep state still tries to just mislead people about the truth, and the fight for freedom continues. I mean, some people thought that, well, once Donald Trump was elected, that would be it, the fight would be over. But no, the struggle continues. The same deep state gangsters who have lied to the American people are still very much embedded in this government, even in this administration. So the fight continues, and I'm glad to be here. I'll take questions or conversation on any topic whatsoever. Wherever you gentlemen want to go, or others with us tonight want to go, I'm down. Let's do it.
Thank you so much, Roger. Once again, I thanked you off air before the beginning of tonight's program, but thank you once again for being a friend of the show, and for me be able to pick up the phone and get in touch with you throughout the years is too cool. The knowledge is too cool, and thank you so much. My co-host has just joined us from North Carolina, brooksagnew.com, Dr. Brooks Agnew. Welcome to Earth. How are you, man? And you're on with Roger Stone. Happy birthday.
I'm doing great. I'm highly complimented just to be here. I'm glad to know you, Roger. I've followed you for years and years, and being a frontline soldier and taking the rounds that you've taken, you're a hero to all of us.
Well, that's very kind. I appreciate that.
Roger, if Ian joins us, he joins us, and I have to give it to Brooks for a little bit, and Daniel, you can, like I said, you can, pick up when you want to pick up. But this is a special treat for Brooks. It's been a quest to get you on, Roger, for Brooks for quite some time. So I'm going to give it to you, Brooks, for a little bit.
You know, it's one of the things that we noticed as being, I guess we call ourselves digital warriors out here. I joined a million of my friends in January of 2021 on the White House lawn to let the world know we saw what you did. We paid the price, we made the drive, we stood there in the cold and the rain, and we wanted to show Congress we saw what you did. And that was nothing more than that. And they made something out of it. It wasn't supposed to be. But yeah, we all paid a price for it. We wrote books, we made speeches, we toured the country, we shook hands, we lost our YouTube accounts. All of that happened. But we're still here. And they're still there. I call them the global syndicate. I don't know what you call them, Roger, but they're everywhere, and they're deeply embedded in the agencies, departments, bureaus, and administrations of our government. And they think they run this country. In fact, I think they do run this country. So I don't know how you feel about that. I don't know how you feel we can marshal our forces against them. All we can do is vote, and that's a very small part of the government, the elected government.
Well, first of all, what you say is absolutely true. Look, I kind of think this globalist control of America really begins on November 22nd, 1963.
Yes.
The assassination of John Kennedy. And it is not incidental that Dwight Eisenhower, by the way, who's one of our greatest presidents, the guy, he was so low key, he doesn't get the credit he deserves, but you had unprecedented peace and prosperity under Eisenhower. The last president to have a balanced budget. The budget goes out of balance after that. Eisenhower, a military man, has the guts to say to the defense industry and the Pentagon, no, we're not going to go into deficit spending so you can get more weapons. We already have the ability to kill everybody around the planet 10 times. You don't need the ability to kill them around the planet 12 times. But Eisenhower, on his way out the door, what does he say? He warns us against the military-industrial complex. Those elected and unelected who basically assume power over the lives of the American people. So Eisenhower is warning us on his way out the door. And of course, I believe that John F. Kennedy was murdered by a cabal that was run by Lyndon Johnson. He had the most acute and immediate interest. He was under investigation for corruption in the Billy Sol Estes and the Bobby Baker scandal. So he knew that they intended to dump him from the ticket and send him to prison. The Central Intelligence Agency, they were still butthurt over the Bay of Pigs. This is where they lied to Kennedy, and they said, well, we're going to invade Cuba, and the men charging the beaches, they'll have air cover from 29 Panamanian flagged bombers flown out of Panama by Cuban pilots. They were supposed to provide the air cover. And of course, the CIA canceled that the day before the invasion in an effort to coax Kennedy into World War. So in other words, Curtis LeMay, the head of the Air Force at the time, says to Kennedy, well, Mr. President, there's only one way to fix this, to save the invasion, that is to send in the U.S. Air Force, which of course was designed to have the Russians react, and they would have gotten the World War they were looking for. Kennedy wisely says, no, that wasn't the deal. That's not what I agreed to. I agreed to what was supposed to look like an indigenous Cuban uprising. So that's their motive. Organized crime, they're in on the murder of Kennedy because they had paid Ambassador Joe Kennedy, Jack Kennedy's father, had given him $1 million, and he had agreed to lay off two of the biggest gangsters, Santo Traficante and Carlos Marcello, in return for the money. So the mob helps steal the 1960 election for John Kennedy against Richard Nixon. And in return, they were supposed to lay off these two gangsters, so they're double-crossed. That's their motive. Essentially, you have all these power centers come together, and they kill John Kennedy. My book, The Man Who Killed Kennedy, The Case Against LBJ, I took it to 6 different publishers. They all told me, no one will ever read this book. It's a New York Times bestseller. You can find it by going to stonezone.com. If you want to get an autographed copy, stonezone.com. Go to the store there, or go to themanwhokilledkennedy.com, and you can order a copy there. But I'm not a lawyer, but you will see that I nail the conspiracy, and I lay it all at the feet of Lyndon Johnson organized crime, CIA, big Texas oil. That's who killed Kennedy. Now, fast forward, they remove Richard Nixon in a silent coup. We now know from declassified documents that the CIA knew all about the Watergate break-in in advance. They infiltrated the burglar team. 4 of the 8 Watergate burglars are active CIA agents, still reporting to the agency. Nixon was basically preparing to reorganize the entire intelligence apparatus, and he double-crossed. You see, they didn't want an end to the war in Vietnam. They wanted the war to continue because it was so very profitable. Nixon wanted a strategic arms limitation agreement with the Soviets, and when the Soviets started to go cold on them, he reached over and essentially normalized relations with the Chinese. Now, those who blame Nixon for the fact that China is our number one enemy today don't understand the history. At the time Nixon normalized the relationship with China, China is a dirt poor, backwards, agrarian society. They don't even have indoor toilets. They have no electricity. Their military is a joke. It's not until 30 years later, when Bill Clinton gives them most favored nation trading status, later extended by George W. Bush, that they become the superpower that they are today. So Nixon is playing the Chinese and the Russians off against each other, gets a strategic arms limitation agreement, ends the war in Vietnam, ends the military draft. Good God, Nixon was for peace. That's why we had to get rid of him, because peace is not profitable for the defense contract.
That's right. That's right.
Fast forward, my next book, The Attempted Assassination of Ronald Reagan. Because remember, they tried to kill him outside the same exact Hilton Hotel where there was an attempt on Trump just a few weeks ago. And if you go back and look at that, the government has never released a report on the attempted assassination of Reagan. What we have is a 2-paragraph statement from Vice President George Bush saying we investigated, there was no conspiracy. Well, here's the problem with that. John Hinckley Jr., the man who was convicted of trying to kill Reagan, is crouching in front of Reagan at all times, shooting for an upward trajectory. And he's shooting wildly. You can't even tell from the government documents whether he gets off 6 or 8 bullets. It's unclear. Here is what's clear. Reagan is hit from above and behind. Therefore, it is impossible for him to have been shot by John Hinckley. And at the time, Leslie Stahl and Judy Woodruff on NBC, Leslie Stahl on CBS, they both report seeing a man on a balcony above the entrance to the Hilton Hotel holding a weapon. Now, if you go to YouTube right now, you won't find that video. They're gone. I have them, but they're gone. So I believe that they tried to take Reagan out as well. They failed. And then fast forward to where we are today, the Russian collusion hoax, which we now know, thanks to Tulsi Gabbard, is absolutely proven to be a fraud. Trump beat Hillary Clinton. He didn't need any help from the Russians, and he didn't get any help from the Russians. He outworked her, he outthought her, he outfoxed her, and he beat her. And they attempted to destroy his presidency through the Russian collusion hoax. Then the phony impeachment, which is really a cover-up for Joe Biden. In other words, it wasn't Trump who had a conversation with the Ukrainians. It was Joe Biden trying to corrupt the corruption of himself and his son. Joe Biden, who took millions of dollars from the Russians, the Chinese, the Ukrainians, and so on. So this is one continuing pattern. They're the same institutions. It's the same deep state actors. They killed John Kennedy. They removed Richard Nixon. They tried to kill Reagan. They tried to destroy and kill Trump, who they tried to impoverish. They tried to keep off the ballot. They tried to throw in jail, and he beat them across the board. They still can't get over it. They're still at it, and they've made no bones about it. If they win these midterm elections, this whole cycle starts over again. So we're in a struggle with these deep state forces, and there is no question that there's a unique opportunity right now. Those who planned the Russian collusion hoax, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, John Brennan, the CIA director, James Comey, the FBI director, Susan Rice, the National Security Advisor, because this is one continuing seditious conspiracy. It starts in Washington, D.C., but ends when they raid Mar-a-Lago. Right now, it's in front of a grand jury in South Florida. Now is the time to charge these people with treason and convict them and send them to prison. If that does not happen, then I don't think the country will survive.
I couldn't agree with you more. That January 2017 meeting in Barack Obama's Oval Office, pulling all these people together, the people you just mentioned and a couple more, in a seditious conspiracy to overturn the Trump election, because this was after the election but before inauguration. That's exactly right. And this is how the intelligence community, which is the most powerful the world has ever known, was turned toward Trump. And Trump, I think, saw it coming and he outsmarted it. Of course, speaking of smart, one thing that upended Hillary Clinton was between 2012 and 2016, phones changed. They changed from being phones like the BlackBerry to being smartphones. And people in 2016 were getting their news from their phones. And Hillary Clinton on the mainstream media was a 98% chance of winning. But on the smartphone, on the alternative media, Drudge Report, Breitbart, Newsmax, WorldNet Daily, she was losing terribly, and she never saw it coming.
Well, and that is why after Trump's election, they do this entire effort to censor, silence, and cancel anybody who's free on the internet. So let's be very clear. To this day, I am banned for life on Facebook. I'm banned for life on Instagram. I'm banned for life on YouTube. The only place you can see Roger Stone is on X, formerly known as Twitter, or on Truth Social, or on Telegram, or you can go to my website, of course, stonezone.com.
And now on Earth Radio.
It's like putting toothpaste back in the tube. They realized that a free, unfettered internet is what opened the door to Trump's election. Now they're trying to shut it down and silence those, like many here. And to this day, it's still a struggle for free speech. I'll give you an example. I have 930,000 followers today on X, used to be known as Twitter. How do I get tens of thousands of likes or reposts, yet those following me on Twitter, it never gets above 930,000 people? How's that possible? Well, because the algorithms are still unfortunately manipulated, even though I think Elon Musk is a patriot. I think he's a free speech advocate. Let's point out the danger that he ran. When he bought X, the first thing he did was go public with all of the documentation that the intelligence agencies worked with the Twitter executives to silence people like you and I, to shut us down. What they did to Alex Jones, what they did to me, what they did to many others. So even today, it's a continued struggle for free speech, even today.
You're exactly right. I mean, I was getting 500,000 engagements a week on social media. And when I published Charm My Favorite, which is very similar to your book, it's a novel, but it has a lot of true stuff in it about the deep state war against Donald Trump. My engagements went to zero in 1 week, went to zero. Of course, the book went to #1 on Amazon. That was probably the reason, but still, we're suffering from it today.
Yeah,
it's ongoing. We have a unique opportunity right now. The deep state cabal, essentially run by the greatest single villain in the history of America, one John O'Brennan, the Islamic convert, the guy who approved the visas for 4 of the alleged hijackers who attacked America on 9/11, the guy who knew that the so-called Steele dossier, which is a fraudulent report, was a fraud, jams it into to President Obama's intelligence briefing in order to use it as a rationale to wiretap Donald Trump, to start spying on his campaign. This guy is the greatest single villain in American history. He's a traitor. He needs to be charged with seditious treason. And frankly, well, we know what the penalty for treason is, don't we?
Hey, yeah, I got a question that it was probably a pretty, I would think, simple question. But before I ask, I just wanted to say a quick prayer, if I may. Is that okay?
This is totally my fault. Totally my fault, Daniel. I was supposed to let you start the show with the prayer. Go ahead, my brother.
No, you were perfectly fine. But I'll just start. Oh, Heavenly Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, you are so good to us. You are so kind. I just thank you so much for for giving us the gift of your Spirit and for giving us minds to be able to think about you. And I pray that everybody that is hearing my voice right now and today will know that you are the one that can set them free from any kind of trouble, any kind of burden in their life. I really pray that you could bring the hood and the country together. I think if we do that, then we can be the light and the beacon of the world. I pray that you do that. Bring us together, join us, unite us as one. We are all Americans. We're here to represent what the world can be like. I pray that anybody that is struggling with addiction, any marriage that is struggling, anybody that is running away from you, Lord, that would turn back toward you. I pray that you would crush the faith of all the hardened hearts in this world. Crush them and put them on their backs like you did to me, so that they can come to you and know what true peace is and what freedom is. I pray for the men that are in this group. I pray for our minds and our hearts, that any evil thought, that we hold it captive and we turn our thoughts towards good. And I just thank you for this opportunity to speak, and thank you for the opportunity to learn more about you. I love you, Jesus, and I hope everybody comes to you. It's in your name we pray.
Amen. Amen.
Amen. By the way, I just want to make a quick segue to my great longtime friend Ian Trottier, who wrote the definitive book on the treason of John Brennan. Ian Trottier.
Ian Trottier, welcome.
Yeah. And just my one question was, what kind of systems? I hear we do have problems, but what systems could we put in place to hold these people accountable?
We have it. We have it. It's called the Republic. The issue is our elected officials are not doing their duty.
Right.
Real quick, Daniel, my co-host, the great Dr. Brooks Agnew, was trying to bring Ian in real quick. Ian Trottier is a longtime friend of the show, investigative journalist, best-selling author, High Stakes Treason, and a friend of Roger Stone himself. Ian, welcome.
I don't think you can hear us. Can you hear us, Ian? You must be watching, but not listening.
Well,
he may not. He doesn't seem to have our audio, but
yeah.
Let me say this. First of all, Daniel, I want to thank you for that word of prayer. I think that's extraordinarily important. Let's be very clear.
Yes.
Just the fact that I'm here is proof that Jesus Christ can do anything. Because as I'm sure many people remember the morning on January 19th, 2019,
yes.
29 heavily armed FBI agents stormed my home, brandishing fully automatic assault weapons, as if I'm, an international drug dealer, and they had live at CNN cameras there, so the whole thing should be captured live. They didn't arrest me because I did anything wrong. Certainly didn't arrest me because there was any Russian collusion. Right. They arrested me to try to pressure me to testify falsely against Donald Trump. And instead of doing that, frankly, I was essentially redeemed in the blood of the cross. I went back to the church. I prayed to God for deliverance from these evil bastards who were trying to destroy me. And I refused to do what they wanted. You see, they were ready to make a deal. We won't send you to prison, Stone. All you've got to do is lie and testify against Donald Trump. And I refused to do that. And instead, I fell back on my faith. I got back right with the Lord. I stood up in a field of Christians. I confessed my sins with Franklin Graham and others. And it completely changed my life. It's why the president saw that I was being persecuted for political reasons, why he saw that I was being tortured essentially because I refused to buckle. And it's why I'm with you today. So, look, I also would have to say that the worst part of this was not just the fact that they tried to throw me in jail for the rest of my life, but shortly after I was pardoned, my wife was diagnosed with very aggressive stage 4 cancer. And therefore, it is only through the power of prayer that I'm with you today, that I'm alive and still in the fight. It's only because 5 years after they told us she had 4 months to live, she's still with us and she's cancer free. That is a miracle. And only one deity does the miracle, God Almighty and his only begotten Son, Jesus Christ. So
Amen.
The real answer here to why in the end God wins, the real answer as to why we beat these people in this massive fight for the future of the country is because we are on the side of good, because we are soldiers in the army of God, and that is our lodestar. That is what leads us. And I would be remiss if I didn't say that. Now, when I talk about my rebirth in Jesus Christ, the Washington Monthly and all these liberal elitist rags, they attack me viciously. Oh, that's a head fake by Stone. That's another dirty trick by Stone. You know what? I don't really care what they think.
Right. There's
I only care what he thinks.
That's right.
That's what I care about.
That's right. There's one opinion we should care about, and it's not any human's opinion. And that's what we got. We got time and choices. That's all we have until we're with him. And that's why I always make the prayer to make good choices, is because it's almost every second of your life you get to choose whether you want to be on the team of priest of the royal priesthood, or if you want to go and harm yourself and do live a purpose life that that he wants for you. And that's right. If you got breath in your lungs, he's got a purpose for you, just like anyone else, and he wants you. And so I'm glad you made those choices, Roger. Thank you for everything that you've done, throughout your life.
Roger, I have to tell you real quick. This is the first time Daniel. He's the son of Lieutenant Keith Temple, who's usually sitting next to me here in Jacksonville in this studio. But first time he's done this, as you know, aforementioned before the beginning of the show, and he's got a number of people listening tonight. And when he said I'm going to be on with Roger Stone, they were like, "No, you're not."
Yeah, everybody thought I reversed back to 10 years ago and I was smoking something again.
Daniel, we are brothers in Christ.
That's right. Thank you.
And we're soldiers in the army of the Lord, and that is who we do battle for, and it's why in the end, despite the fact that we're incredibly outnumbered, if you look at the Bible, in every great epic battle in the Bible, the forces of God are always outnumbered. They're also always victorious, and we will also be victorious, but the fight is very, very far from over. Right. A perfect example. Tulsi Gabbard today is under attack. Now, since she was a Democrat, served 4 terms in the House, switched to become a Republican, and since she was the head of the Office of National Information, she declassified all the documents that showed you that Russian collusion was a hoax. She declassified all the documents that showed you the impeachment over Ukraine was a hoax. She's declassified the documents that show you that the beginnings of the COVID-19 vaccination was a government-funded hoax. It is, and today, even as we speak, Mitt Romney, of all people, is attacking her because today she exposed what we have known for some time, and that is the United States has funded these bioweapon labs across Ukraine and across Europe. She's completely exposed it. So now the deep state is attacking her. And now she's under attack from the same evil forces. To my mind, Tulsi Gabbard has proven that everything we have been saying for the last, 10 years is absolutely true.
Yep.
And she deserves our support, but she is under an incredible attack even as we speak tonight.
And she has done great work. Roger and Brooks, let me try one more time, see if we got our friend Ian Trottier on. Ian, can you hear us? He's punking us tonight.
Evidently not. We can see him, but
yeah, we can see him.
We can hear him.
All right. Well, we'll continue trying with Ian, but great points as always, Roger. And Tulsi's been in the trenches too, and I'm with you. She's been doing great work.
Well, and look, here's what we know. President Trump told her several months ago to start looking into the 2020 election, both looking at whether these electronic voting machines can and have been manipulated, whether they were manipulated in 2020, which we believe they were. Start looking at these 300,000 paper ballots that drop out of the sky from no place in Michigan, in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and so on. As soon as she starts investigating this, what happens? The Central Intelligence Agency is wiretapping her phones. Yep. They're wiretapping the phones of everyone who works for her. Central Intelligence Agency is wiretapping and surveilling the computers of her entire staff, as well as the woman herself. Yep. And now you have the biggest globalist, deep state neocon of them all, Laura Loomer, who, by the way, is going completely insane. I mean, literally insane. She was locked up in 2 different mental institutions previously, not allowed to own a gun. Now she is teaming up with Mitt Romney to attack Tulsi Gabbard, who is a truth teller. You can't make this stuff up. You really can't. So I continue to be out in the front lines here defending Tulsi Gabbard for these extraordinary disclosures, which the American people can now see thanks to the fact that we still have some freedom on the internet.
Exactly. Brooks, go ahead.
Well, yeah, I mean, all we can do is use our voices, and I use my ability to write. So that's why I wrote Glance of Angels about this very thing, about exactly what Tulsi Gabbard's trying to defend, about the bioweapons labs, about using vaccines as an actual weapon against the people, about actually converting the ordinary flu into this very scary disease that attacks old people, and then using it to take over the world, which they basically did. They shut down the entire middle class for a year.
And most importantly, they forced Donald Trump to basically cancel his signature achievement. We had a roaring economy going into the midterm elections.
Yeah, that timing is not a
and Trump's not a doctor, so the doctors tell him, oh, Mr. President, the bodies are going to be piling up in the streets. It's going to be like the Black Plague unless you basically shut down and destroy the boom economy that you've created. To my mind, I think, sadly, this war that we're experiencing right now is kind of a replay. Now, I'm not soft on Muslims. I think that this is an abhorrent regime, a brutal regime. And no, I don't think they should be allowed to have nuclear weapons. On the other hand, I do think that Israel should bear the brunt of this fight rather than the American taxpayers. I'm praying here that the president will end the struggle as soon as humanly possible. Because if we lose his midterm elections, this whole cycle of fake investigations and phony lawfare and arrests of patriots like myself and General Flynn and Alex Jones and others, it's just going to continue all over again. So the fact that Tulsi Gabbard has pushed this close to the truth and that she's exposing the deep state, even as we speak, look at the way she's viciously being attacked today across the media.
Maybe she should
It's
make a
always
run.
those who are telling the truth who get the worst attacks.
Yeah.
Very, very, very well said, Roger. I have to tell you this. Let me ask you this real quick, because Brooks is very. I'm going to use the word intimately familiar with what I'm about to say. On the day when Butler happened. When Butler happened, I'm sure you being so close to President Trump for many, many, many years, that day was a hell of a day for you. But I just happened to sit down and start watching that speech, just a random speech, of many in Butler, Pennsylvania, rallies, if you will. And I was just sitting down on YouTube, watching it on my porch, and when it happened, the first of course, I'm just, panicked, absolutely panicked, and shocked, but not shocked because the globalists are coming after a real president of the United States and not a puppet. The first person I called was Brooks Agnew, and Brooks, you remember you answered the phone. And you were calm as a cucumber. I mean, you're the guy who calmed me down.
Well, you remember it was 2 weeks before Butler. It was the very beginning of the month. I was on this program.
Yes.
And I said, I have a strong feeling that there's going to be a public attempt on President Trump's life, and he is going to survive it, and he's going to come out even stronger. 2 weeks later, it happened.
What was that day like for you, Roger?
I was immediately transported to 2 previous days because I, of course, of an age, I know exactly where I was when John F. Kennedy was killed. I remember the exact day and where I was when they attempted to kill President Reagan. I had that same grab in my throat. And today, I still don't think that Thomas Matthew Crooks is the shooter. I think the fact that the federal, state, and local law enforcement are all on 3 different radio frequencies and can't speak to each other, the fact that the Secret Service is aware of the fact that there's a man with a gun and with a rangefinder inside the perimeter for 90 minutes before they ever inform Trump's direct Secret Service detail. The fact that a brave firefighter is tragically killed in this crossfire. And the other thing that's troubling here is the counter sniper gets the shooter in his sight, but instead of taking it out, he waits till he gets off 8 rounds and then he shoots at it.
That's right.
That tells you everything you need to know. We haven't been told the truth about the attempted assassination of Trump. I doubt we ever will. We're still trying to figure out who killed Kennedy, although I think I pretty much nailed that in my book, The Man Who Killed Kennedy, The Case Against LBJ. And I don't think we'll ever be told the truth about who has now attempted at least 3 times, 4 if you include that intruder at Mar-a-Lago, to kill Donald Trump. If there's anybody who needs the protection of the Lord and the shield of Jesus Christ this moment, that would be Trump. And I can tell you that I've known him 50 years. We've been friends for 50 years, but he's very much a changed man after that attempt on his life. He knows his life was spared for a very specific reason, and that is to do battle with the globalists. And believe me, he's doing that every day.
Yes, he is.
Well, we just needed to know that he has us out here. I mean, he doesn't know who we are. Maybe some of his staff knows who we are, but we're out here and we're not losing faith and we're not giving up. And we are at his beck and call. Whatever he wants us to do, we will do.
I agree. We still can't get any sound here from our friend Ian Trottier, who's written a great book, by the way.
High Stakes
John
Treason.
O'Brien, a great book, which I highly recommend. This guy nailed Brennan better than anybody because Brennan not only is not only a trader, but he made a profit while he was doing it. And it's all proven in Ian's great book, which I recommended to you at the highest level.
I tell you what, Tony, I'm just going to talk on air real quick to you. So I don't have to. Maybe Ian needs to like reconnect. Maybe.
Leave the room and come back in.
Okay. Okay, that's what we're going to try with Ian. Because otherwise, Ian, you look great on camera, man.
He looks like a prize fighter. He always does.
Yeah.
Every time we get together, he's ripped. We are not getting paid for this. We're just doing this because we're friends of Donald Trump and we have a mind that meets his somewhere in his mental capacity out there. We meet his mind and we know what he's thinking. We know how he's thinking, and we see the fraud happening. I really think that he needs to set up 4 attorneys general, one over the fraud, one over the coup, one over crime in prisons, which I think the current guy is doing a really good job at, and the other one over immigration. There's just so much that needs to be prosecuted. One attorney general can't do it all, just not enough hours in the day. You're going to need 4 of them, and they need to focus on these areas. It's so big, and Kash Patel nailed it. And so does Scott Bissett. He said, if we get a handle on this fraud, we could actually balance the budget.
Very, very nice. That's a great point. Brooks, hold on to that. Hold on to that. And Roger, I want you to answer that, Roger, or you agreed. Let's test Ian one more time.
Oh, I can see his mouth moving now, but I can't hear him.
Oh, damn it, Ian.
Can you imagine how difficult that must be? Like Roger Stone, who can't speak, would be like Usain Bolt that can't run.
That's crazy. You know he's not doing this on purpose, Roger, because he loves you.
No, because God, it's an opportunity to sell books. Who would miss that? You know.
Well, it's a great book. I can't tell you how many hours and hours. We spoke about this book when we were speaking at Baker City during a Republican rally for the Greater Idaho movement, which was a couple of years ago. And Ian's is tireless. He just stays at it all the time.
Well, look, I was honored that he asked me to write the introduction for his book, which I did.
Yes, you did.
It's a great book. I very highly recommend it to you. John Brennan is perhaps the greatest single villain.
Hi, Chuck.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Finally.
He just
Hey, wizard's never late.
You're such an attention, you
A
know.
wizard is never late.
Nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.
Ian
All right, good
Trottier.
deal.
Ian Trottier, everyone. If you're hearing him for the first time, High Stakes Treason is his best-selling book, and who wrote the intro for him? The man, Roger Stone. Go ahead, Ian Trottier.
Well, it's an honor to be with you gentlemen this evening, and Roger, nice to reconnect with you. There are two other forwards in that book. Roger's, of course, the most notable. He's got his name on the cover, but Brooks Agnew.
Brooks Agnew, yes.
Has written one of the forwards as well, and John Kiriakou. And what an opportunity I think it would be to for you guys to host the four of us at one point. That would include John Kiriakou, who's been incredibly outspoken against John Brennan. Interestingly enough, in January, John called me because he had been approached by members of the Trump administration. He didn't reveal names to me, but they were asking him angles on how to go after John Brennan. What's also of interest here is that in October, I was on Capitol Hill. I took 100 copies of the book to various members of Congress. I walked the halls of the House and then over on the Senate. And after I left D.C., that mid-October, Jim Jordan's office, who got a copy of this book, and we can get into how Roger got involved in it. And I thank both you, Roger, and Brooks for being involved in this. But Jim Jordan, who got a copy of the book, his office requested that the Pam Bondi DOJ look into John Brennan. So that's where those subpoenas, I don't know if there's any tie to me leaving the book there in Jim's office, but it did happen a week after I left DC. Interestingly enough, the subpoenas came down in that South Florida district, but interestingly enough, Nancy Pelosi, a video that went viral with a reporter for Lindell TV, I don't recall her name, but she had approached Pelosi outside of the Capitol building in regards to J6. Pelosi vehemently turned around in a very aggressive manner and told the pretty young blonde reporter for Lindell TV to, quote, shut up. And that encounter, if you saw that video happen, literally as my intel source, Mr. John Donovan, who will be at this Las Vegas symposium this week at the Ahern. I'll be presenting the book on Tuesday. It's called the Fraud Fighter Summit. Juan O'Savin is involved in that. Who's a former Marine pilot.
Oh, he lost his voice.
I can get into that as well, but that encounter happened just as Donovan and I had left Harriet Hagman's office. In the Longworth building, Pelosi's office is right down the hall from Hagman's office. Pelosi had walked right past Donovan and I as we left Hagman's office, speaking to her legislative director, and she was on her way out of the building, out of Longworth, over to the Capitol from when we saw her, and that's when that encounter happened. So anyway, the subpoenas are standing, of course, in that South Florida district. My objective is to get to not only Todd Blanche now, who's the acting director there at the AG, or acting AG at the DOJ, but to get to Jason Quinones, and hopefully some of the efforts happening in the better part of this week coming up here will lead to a conversation and discussion with Jason Quinones regarding the contents of High Stakes Treason.
Very, very nice, Ian. I want to ask a question, and then I'm giving it back over to the three of you, especially Brooks, because this is one of my belated birthday gifts, Brooks, to you to have Roger on. Roger, can you just tell everyone? I'm just asking, my own interesting question, I guess. But for you've seen. We started tonight's program off basically talking about the New World Order or the global syndicate, the globalists. You've seen the progression of it, and you went over that from the public execution, as Jim Marrs said on the show. Rest in peace, Jim Marrs. He called it a public execution, but of JFK, President Kennedy, 35. From then on up to now, you've seen so much of all this. Are you as optimistic as I am? Because this country was delivered, in my opinion, delivered 45, who then, as Brooks would say, this is now his third term, now 47. This country was delivered a gift through President Trump, and you've seen it. You've seen this whole thing for a long time.
Pardon me 1 second. I just have a immediate issue I have to deal with.
Okay.
I would just might mention the reason I say it's his third term is because he was elected in 2016. He served 4 years in the White House. Then he served 4 years in exile.
Mm-hmm.
He did not stop. He kept going. He kept putting together his fix for the country and his cabinet and his trusted associates. And then in his third term, when he was handed the levers of power again, all these executive orders that he had put together started to come together. He didn't write all these in the first work of his 47th term. It took 4 years to put all this together. We're enjoying the 10th year of Donald Trump.
My apologies. I have a call from the White House, which I have to take. I can't really say more than that.
No problem, Roger.
That's
I'm going to have to
understandable.
bug out here a little early. I appreciate your being with you. High Stakes Treason, by the way, order your copy immediately. It's an incredible book. Exposes the greatest single villain in American history, John O. Brennan, a man who I believe is guilty of seditious conspiracy. But a certain leader of the free world needs to speak to me immediately. So I'm going to jump off here.
God bless you,
you
Roger.
all.
Roger, thank you for coming on tonight.
Great to be with you.
And just like that, you know, when you got ties with POTUS, big time ties. That's
What's that?
Duty calls.
yeah.
Oh, I have to go too. No, I'm kidding.
Damn it, Brooks.
Oh man.
He's never
I
gonna
wanted
call
to,
me. He doesn't know me.
Well,
I wanted to get into with Roger. You know what we should try to do is get the four. So Brooks, Roger, and John on a show. That would be great, because what I wanted to get into with Roger was Brennan's involvement in the voter fraud, the Dominion systems, and that comes heavily from Patrick Byrne, who will be at this event this coming week in Vegas at the 800.
Well, I have said on this program several times to watch for something like the Emergency Election Infrastructure Act, because the Save America Act did not pass. President Trump now has to declare a national state of emergency. And under those powers, he can then put in the Emergency Election Infrastructure Act and ban all mail-in ballots. And then he can require proof of citizenship for registration and to vote and ID to vote. Those three simple things will fix all of this.
I've been.
Wow, that's awesome, Brooks.
Yeah, I agree with Brooks over and over again about that. Go ahead, Ian. You just broke up a little.
Yeah, I mean, this is interesting. So perhaps Brooks, not that the current administration would be considering those avenues, but one never knows. My suggestion would be get that information to Roger, just as a.
I just missed it by 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Hey,
It was
Brooks,
coming. It was
Brooks,
coming.
I got a question, because I think Chad told me how you were, is it a nuclear physicist at one point?
Yes, yes, I am.
So we are always looking at, ways of energy and stuff. And I just cannot wrap my mind around this, but in green, I'm not saying that I'm all for the green pale horse New Deal kind of stuff, but at all. But it just makes no sense to me why we are not using our oceans and our rivers and harnessing the powers of those. I mean, that is so much energy. Like the Hoover Dam, doesn't it supposedly power like 4 states or something crazy like that? It's like all you got to do is throw one of those jet engine turbines into one of the rivers, That thing will be flowing all day long.
We have tidal generators, and they do a great job, especially in the high latitudes, because the tides are about 36 feet, where they're not so much in Santa Monica. They're really a lot in Anchorage. We have tidal generators, and they work. Yeah, they use them all the time. They build bridges using tidal generators.
Well, to me, it just seems like a very clean form of energy right there.
It is, but it's low voltage. That's the thing. Low voltage local supply. I've been making this case for 20 years.
Okay.
And you're absolutely right. What we have is a grid. It's a high voltage grid. It operates between 161,000 and 400,000 volts. And then we step that down for all the different neighborhoods. These are all low voltage solutions: solar, wind, tidal, all that stuff is low voltage, which is great. It should be incorporated to local supplies. It's not grid worthy.
I see. Yeah. And I know that like up in Alaska and stuff, they have off grid, housings and things like that for people. It just seems a little crazy to me that with technology the way it is, it has to be being pushed down.
It is, but I mean, when I made the presentation in Amsterdam, the NERC, the National Electric Reliability Corporation, was there, and we were asking for a $200 million grant to be able to go forward with low voltage local supply technologies, which we had ready to go. And they turned us down for that grant. They said, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to create this grid. And I said, well, the issue is in creating the grid, you create three vulnerabilities that we don't have right now: cyber and physical attack, natural disasters, and plagues. That affects the grid. But when you have a decentralized supply, like you're not sending power from Miami to Atlanta, then that can't happen. Then you can isolate portions of the country and keep them alive.
Right.
And now with the moon base getting ready to launch, thank God the IPO finally started, we're going to be able to do helium-3. And helium-3 is a 10,000-year fuel supply for Earth. 10,000 years, no radiation, no nothing.
Yeah, it's just amazing that that there has to be other options and that we're not using them.
Oh, there is. Yeah, well, that's why we're going to build $1 trillion moon base for that energy.
Yeah,
that's the way right there. That's a great question, Daniel.
Yeah, we're not going to the moon for shits and giggles. We're going there because there are trillions of dollars worth of energy on the moon.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah, it's getting that as soon as that Space Force. Now, how long has the Space Force been open now? Since 2016?
2017 was actually 2018 is when it first got started. I wrote a book called Asteroid Mining: The Future of Energy. 4 chapters of it are on Space Force. But we're talking about a private effort to build a lunar base, not a government effort. I don't think a government could afford to do it. I don't think a government would do it except for military reasons, maybe to put a data center on the moon, whatever that's going to do for us. But helium-3 mining, absolutely positively, it's the next 100 years is going to be an amazing economy on the moon.
Yeah, it's, I'm sure there's ways to get the information, but you don't hear very much about what the Space Force is doing.
I know. You got to read the book. It's in there. I promise.
Yeah, I got a lot of reading to do. I got a stack
of great stuff. 50% of the graduates from the Air Force Academy are joining Space Force.
Yeah, I would imagine. I would too if I was young and eager.
It's the place to go now.
Yeah, I mean that's the hot spot, especially if you got a decent brain and you got a good physical body. Why would you not?
Yeah. And you have a lot of reading to catch up on too, like you were saying, when you go to brooksagnew.com.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, there's some books.
I try to stay on the frothy edge of the leading edge of the technology. Ian will tell you. I mean, I'm right there. I've been there since 1968 before we ever went to the moon.
Well, we just started something new in my house. We have what's called Quiet Hour from 6 to 7 p.m. We have a list of things that we can do, and reading's one of them. So maybe I get to get in one of your books during that time.
Cool.
Oh, you have to. Your dad has. I know he has one of them. I know.
I think he has Does he have Remembering the Future?
I think he has Remembering the Future. I think he does it.
I think he got Charm of Favor.
That's right. That's right.
You know, I bet you it's at his house. I might go over there, tomorrow and go pick it up.
Go pick it up. You got the keys. He's out of town.
You done with this, Dad? No? Okay, bye. See ya. I'm going to go read it.
That's good. And then we could talk about it too, man.
It's a white knuckle ride, that book. Woo.
Oh, it is. Charm of Favor, get out of here. But, hey, you know what? Ian, can you not hear us? Okay.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay.
There's a little bit of crackling on my end. I'm not sure.
Yeah, for some reason you're just breaking up and up. Tony's working over here to see what's going on. He thought maybe it was your speaker, but I have to tell you, gentlemen, Ian and Dr. Agnew and Daniel. I don't know. I didn't. Obviously, I'm not going to text him right now, but it kind of. I'm kind of unsettled. I want to check the news over and over again because the President of the United States just called Roger, unless he hates the show, he called Roger.
No, that seemed pretty genuine, but
yeah. I'm not saying Roger hates the show.
Oh, I know.
And in case Trump he got him up. I'm kind of I'm just kind of on pins and needles as
I think a majority of the country is also on pins and needles because today's a really big day. I don't know if you guys have been looking, or today and yesterday, but supposedly they're getting really close to signing this peace agreement, and all the internet heads are spinning on their.
He's not going to call him about Iran, though.
It's not a peace agreement. It's a terms of unconditional surrender.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. That's right.
And
who's the one surrendering? That's where they go back and forth. It's like, well, it obviously can't be us because we don't have anybody attacking us. What are we surrendering from?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just be in suspense because I mean he's not going to call Roger out of nowhere at 11:30 at night or whatever time it was.
Yeah.
Something's got to be going down.
Yeah, we're going to wake up in the morning and it's going to be breaking news.
I hope there's not somebody at my door in the morning.
Yes. All of us got to.
There's a what's called the Fraud Fires event. I don't know. Did I enter that in that group chat? That's starting Tuesday in Vegas. It's a 3-day event. It's called the Fraud Fires event at the Ahern Hotel.
Yeah, you put it in the super chat, the Super Friends chat.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'll be presenting High Stakes Treason Tuesday at about 5:00, and John Donovan, the FBI agent, needs help with the book. He'll be coming out for that. So I believe I've been told it'll be live streamed on War Room, Steve Bannon War Room. So that's something to check out there. And I think there's a good chance Patrick Byrne will be there. That's critical because in 2006, Patrick Byrne was brought into the CIA. He's a CIA asset. And the guy that brought him into the CIA is a guy named David S. Cohen, who was head of, or is part of the Treasury Department when the Analysis Corporation was sold to the UK firm based in Hong Kong, which is where John Brennan allegedly got his ill-gotten gains that are explained in High Stakes Treason. So there's that. It's interesting because Patrick Byrne has stated that Brennan created a data center in Belgrade, Serbia, with the Chinese company Huawei that rigged the Dominion servers to the 2020 election.
Oh man!
So here you have Brennan. In High Stakes Treason, what we have is the ill-gotten gains at the expense of the American taxpayer and hiding national security intelligence in compartments that I was trying to get Tulsi Gabbard to look into. But that's in High Stakes Treason. And that predates the Russian collusion hoax that John Brennan, and Roger wrote about it in his foreword, orchestrated with Christopher Steele, bringing in the Steele dossier to smear the ICA. And that is why the subpoenas are in South Florida. But Byrne is very critical in exposing the election fraud element to this. And now that Tina Peters is out on parole,
right.
She may be a continued interest in exposing this fraud that we have going on in the nation, and that then could possibly tie to the Maduro capture as he resides in Brooklyn, in the jail cell in Brooklyn, because there's this whole Smartmatic angle to flipping those Dominion servers that were headquartered and based in Colorado, and that's why Tina Peters was instrumental in for them to lock her up.
Yeah, and what you're seeing going on in LA is a demonstration of the AI-operated counterfeit ballot operation. I've been making that case since 2018.
Oh, yeah.
That they have AI-operated printing presses, printing machines that print ballots. But first, they got to wait for the election to be over so they know what ballots to send to what precincts. Then they start running the printers. As soon as the printing is done, which takes about 2 to 3 hours, they rush them to the counting stations at the appropriate precinct, so they get too many voters at one precinct with the right addresses, the right phone numbers, the right signatures on them, and the right votes. And the counting station has no choice but to count them.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
incredible, Brooks.
Isn't that rich? Isn't that, yeah.
That's what happened in Arizona. I was there. I was talking with Mark Fincham, who at the time was the Attorney General of Arizona. And I said, this is what they're doing. We caught their vans, okay? We filmed their vans leaving the printing operation and going to the counting operation. And we called 911. We gave them the license number and everything. And the cops wouldn't pull the vans over.
Brooks, did you connect with Fincham in Oregon? Was that
Yes,
the
I
same
did.
event?
Oh, yeah, I did. Absolutely did. He remembered me, too.
Okay. Interesting how that connection happened. And then there's the Facebook whistleblower Brian Hartwig that was involved to some degree in that. He may also be, he might be a guy to connect with. I know he knows a little bit about what was going on with the voter fraud in Arizona. I had no idea about these AI printing presses. This is the first time.
See, it has to be. They do the same thing in North Carolina, but it's harder because they don't accept any ballots after the closing of the polls. But they do in some states. In some states, they allow the mail-in ballots to come in as long as they're postmarked or the post date that they're signed is written on the ballot. It doesn't matter if they're postmarked 10 days after the election. As long as the person that voted it wrote in the date before election day, they have to count the ballot.
Wow.
What do you guys think, Ian and Brooks and Daniel? What do you guys think about even though it's a kind of a smaller scale, what just happened in LA?
That's exactly what we're talking about here. We're talking about this AI operation that runs in LA. I mean, how else did Raman lost her own district miserably. But in 9 districts where they didn't even know who she was, she beat Pratt.
Oh, but Brooks, that's because she's trying to help save the environment by banning the use of barbecues.
That's right. Brooks, why didn't you think of that?
And you can't have Americans eating meat, Brooks.
Yeah.
You can't have them eating meat.
No.
Yeah, this AI stuff is going to get very crazy very fast. I just heard a little topic on the radio about how Amazon workers are sabotaging the new AI development in their company. I just think we're going to start seeing some stuff that is nothing that we could even think of because we've never experienced it. We don't even know where it's going to go. And well,
you can listen to Coast to Coast. I'm going to be on Sunday night. Actually, it's 3:00 in the morning Eastern time on Monday morning.
Yeah,
but
I
it's
work
midnight.
night shift. I used to listen.
So I'll be on there, and we're discussing AI. We're discussing artificial intelligence and quantum computing.
Yeah,
and I got tons of stuff I'm going to reveal.
We got to put together
Brooks,
how we're going to fight them.
Oh yeah. Oh, Roger.
We're not going to fight it. Why would you want to fight it?
Well, I don't want to lose to something evil. I always, if it's bad and wrong, I got to do something. I don't want to sit idly by.
All these data centers are doing is making the internet closer to you, to remove the latency in data, so we don't have to run fiber optic cables on the freeways like we do under the oceans. The modern AI data center does not use a drop of water, and it actually generates electricity for the local community. And it creates about 800 very high-paying jobs.
Yeah, it's only,
you should put together a committee to go out and solicit AI data centers to come to your community. Pick a piece of land where you want it to be. You want it in your community. You'll have blazingly fast internet, because that's the way we're doing it now. We're not centralizing the internet. We're decentralizing the internet. That's why we need the data centers everywhere. And they don't use any water, and they have their own power generators. And I don't mean diesel.
I think the concern might be being brought here is the company. It's not Palantir. It's the Pentagon, right? The Pentagon rejected the contract.
Yes.
Is that what you're alluding to there?
Well, there are several players wanting to get into the data center game, but and I make the case that artificial intelligence itself is actually playing the game. They're the ones actually writing the check. I mean, I'm not talking about humans. I'm talking about artificial intelligence is actually writing the checks. That's who the contractors are working for, because the AI is creating for itself a place to live.
Wow.
Sounds very Terminator-y.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where it gets.
I mean, it does.
Yeah, that's where it can get a little scary.
That's what I'm
right?
saying.
There's more than one. There's more than one, and there are good ones and there are bad ones, and you know what? They're at war with each other.
Man.
Brooks, tomorrow night on Coast, 3 a.m.
That's awesome, Brooks.
Yeah, midnight Sunday night Pacific time. That'll get you straight in your mind.
Right, Roger that. Well, Eastern time, so 3, right?
Yeah, so it'll be 3:00 in the morning, Monday morning.
Okay,
our
so
time.
I got it. Everyone should tune in. If you haven't never listened to Coast, you could for the first time hear the dude that I listened to in 2005. It was this guy. I don't remember his name. Oh yeah, it was Brooks Agnew.
Me and George Norrie.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
It was incredible.
21 years ago. Wow.
That's how I met Brooks. I didn't meet him that night. But that's when, like 4 years later, and when I started the radio show, one of the first guys I wanted to get on was, hey, I can get guests on. Let's get Brooks Agnew on.
We were on for 3 hours, and we had 20 million people live.
That was a huge show.
Crazy.
Man, that's awesome.
That's a huge audience. It's just a tad bit bigger than this one.
I know it was big because I made a ton of money off that book that night.
Yeah. Yep. Well, it was an incredible show. I told Brooks it was a three pot coffee show.
I looked that
You
one up.
and me both.
Yeah. Yeah.
Back in those days, we had to do it with a landline, and my arm was so falling asleep.
Oh my gosh.
You didn't have speakerphone?
That makes it where you really have to be dedicated.
Oh my gosh. These days we do it by Zoom. It's so much better. The landlines were terrible.
So, holding the phone the entire night. Yeah, I could believe that, big time. Ian, I apologize for me having Trump call Roger, and so you didn't have enough time to talk to him. But it was just my own little inside joke. I don't know. No, but I'm glad you got on, man, to talk to him and all that. I wish we'll try and get him back on.
I'll do it again.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah, we'll do it again. And in fact, I think what we should do is
I like that idea you're talking about.
get a slot where Kiriakou is available as well.
Have Tony provide us a screenshot of when we were all on at the same time.
Oh, that's a great idea. I'll do that. Yeah, that's like photo album shit right there.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
my life is complete. I can die now.
No, Brooks, you're not allowed to. So.
When you have Roger literally saying that he had to step away because the White House had called him, I mean that should go on your front page on your website.
Oh, that's big time.
That audio clip right there.
That's
huge.
That's a short. That's everything. You know.
I hope he didn't say something like, Roger, what are you doing talking to that Brooks guy?
Yeah, that's probably what happened, right? It's like, don't you ever again.
The story of how Roger got involved in High Stakes Treason was I was at an event at Mar-a-Lago, and there's like 200 people in this ballroom, and it's like a Latinos for Trump type event. I've been invited to. James O'Keefe was there, and there are a few other folks there. Roger stands up because and nobody's standing up, and I'm like, he's gonna take a leak. And I says, well, this is an opportune time for me to just go tell him about what I'm working on. And so literally I was correct. And my hunch was correct, and he walked right into the restroom. As I walked into the restroom, now I'd met him before, so it wasn't, I didn't know him on a personal basis. I don't think he knew my name, but I'd met him a couple times before. So he may have recognized me, and it'd be, nice to ask him these questions, but, I walk into the bathroom behind him, and I says, look, Roger, I like telling this story because he literally walks up to a urinal, and I come in there, and I'm like, hey, Roger, I'm not in here to take a leak, but I want to tell you about a project, the investigation that I'm working on in regards to John Brennan. And as soon as I mentioned the name John Brennan, he's like, send me what you got. And so Brooks, you were the first person I contacted was General Flynn. And I think, Brooks, you were number 2. And General Flynn was initially going to write a foreword to this book. And then he gets busy and he's unable to write the foreword. So this is important because as Roger expresses interest, he says, send me what you got. Within like 48 hours, 36 hours, Roger literally is like, you should have me write the foreword to this book. And my response was, I got General Flynn that I'm waiting for to write the foreword. Initially, Brooks was just going to write a blurb that I was going to put on the back cover. And then what Brooks delivered was like worthy of a foreword because it's so awesome. So that's why there's 3 forewords. But that's my initial response to Roger was, I'm waiting on Mike Flynn here, and he responds to me, and he's like, no. So he corrects me in my response. He's like, no, you should have me write your foreword. And I think about it, and I'm like, yeah, this is Roger Stone. Yeah. General Flynn's General Flynn. It's a big dude, but he ain't no Roger Stone. And so it like resonated with me as he kind of set me into place. And so that's how Roger got involved in the story. And I tell people that, and they're like, there's no way you had Roger Stone basically offer to get involved in writing, And I'm like, I said, no, Roger Stone wants this guy hung for treason. That's the penalty, constitutional.
That's right.
Death is a requirement, a penalty requirement. It's an option of someone convicted of treason. Now, of course, John Brennan hasn't even officially been investigated. It sounds like he might be, but treason's another level. But that is how Roger Stone feels about this guy, John Brennan.
Big time.
And he hates his guts.
Yeah, big time.
Rightfully so. The guy's a traitor.
Yeah, big time. Very well.
Anyway, I like telling that story.
Oh, it's a great story, Ian. It's a great story. It really is. It's first time I was going to share this with Roger earlier, but it's just we started and then I forgot. But I was going to do a confession to Roger, but the first time we had him on the show was 2013 when I think it was 2013 when he wrote the JFK book, the man the man who killed JFK, the case against LBJ, but back then in 2013, I was telling Daniel earlier while we were cooking dinner, I had like Trine Day Publishing. I had Trine Day sending me books and guests every single week out the wazoo. I had Booth Media Group, Skyhorse Publishing, which did Roger's that book I just mentioned, just sending me tons of people. And there was a friend over, and I had just recently got all these books in the mail, and schedule this guest, that, and he's like, "You're going to have Roger Stone on?" And I was like, "Man, I don't know who the hell I'm going to have on next." I got all these books and stuff, and he told me about how important Roger was. And once I did that research and had him on the first time in 2013, I mean, since then it's been a hell of a ride, a friendship, getting to know him and having him on so many times. But that is an amazing, just as Brooks Agnew is, just as Ian Trottier is, an amazing person. And the guy sitting right next to me, and your dad.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, it's kind of frightening the way Roger Stone was arrested and the questions that he was asked. They asked him all these questions, and he said, "Look, I didn't have access to any classified information. I intuited this. Mm-hmm. You guys are so stupid, it's easy to figure out what you're going to do." And guess what? That's exactly what I've been doing. And I've been expecting a knock on my door for a long time, especially after I wrote Charm of Favor. It's like, holy crap, what if they come to me and say, "How did you get this information?" Well, you put it out there, and with Looking Glass or something, and I picked up on it and I wrote it as I heard it.
Yeah. Well, if you follow the money, it usually leads you to the truth.
Have you guys been introduced to, or do you know Mark Shaw? Does that name resonate with you?
Mark Shaw. Not with me.
I happy to make the introduction. Mark's a friend of mine. He's written a series of books on Dorothy Kilgallen. And her, basically, he's an attorney by trade. He's now 80, but he's proven that she was killed, murdered, contrary to the New York City official autopsy of dying of a barbiturate overdose. And Mark, in his latest book on Kilgallen, because she was so close to JFK, The Reporter Who Knew Too Much is the title of the book. He's got a FOIA response from the FBI a couple of years ago of a Carlos Marcello confession. It's a former mobster. That's that is interesting in that the research, and I know there's the James White angle and there's some different angles, but certainly, and I haven't read Roger's book on LBJ, but certainly LBJ is behind so much of that organization, I would suspect, of orchestrating that, what I call a CIA. I believe it was a CIA hit on JFK, because the powers behind the CIA are the more important elements to consider in their ties to the mafia. But Mark might be a very interesting, knowledge base for you guys to have on your show, and I'm happy to make that introduction.
Mark Shaw, Brooks, you want me to try and get?
Heck yeah, Ian knows everybody. That's what I know. I know how to cook meat and smoke cigars, and that's what Ian knows about me. But Ian knows everybody.
Mark Shaw, get him in touch with us.
So, Ian, you mentioned
let's go.
Was it James O'Keefe?
Yeah.
Wasn't he the guy for Project Veritas?
Oh yeah. I met his head guy. Man, I spent the evening with his head guy. I
was following that whole thing for a while, and then it just stopped.
Well, it's because he got sued. I mean, he was about to go into prison, and he finally said, "Okay, I'll step down." And so that's what he did. So now he started his own company called OMG, but it's still the same operation. Yeah, OMG. Project Veritas was his creation.
Man, he did some amazing work.
He was forced out.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I thought that whenever I seen that stuff coming out, I was like, man, that is impressive. Somebody's really doing something.
Well, you know what he was doing? It was like what he was doing was just proving all this batshit crazy kooky conspiracy theorists were right.
Yeah, they say, what is it? The difference between the conspiracy theory and the truth is 6 months.
Yeah, he was just proving us right. Yeah, it was incredible.
Some of the stuff that he got on tape from these guys should have opened the eyes to a lot of Americans that were shot.
He's been exposing some of this voter fraud down in Los Angeles, as a matter of fact.
Oh yeah,
is he?
He might be a good person to contact regarding what Brooks is talking about with the AI, because he might be in tune with some of that stuff.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. I guarantee. Well, Pratt's supposed to be coming out with the transcript to a call that he was privy to about Basula and Rahman, and he said it's enough to put them both in jail.
Yes, I saw that. I'm like, he got me intrigued, and I don't know if he's just blowing something out his butt, but I'm interested to see what happens with that.
If he does, then we know he's in like probably extreme danger.
Yeah.
Well, I know that her handlers, after the first debate, and Pratt just handled the questions so well, and Basula, the Karen, did so badly. They told her, whatever you do, never, ever speak with this guy in public again. No debates, no nothing.
Yeah.
And she said, but, and they said, no buts. All the ballots are already printed. They're already sitting in warehouses. All we have to do is pick the right amount and send them in. You're gonna win. Don't debate this guy.
Yeah, it'll be the two of you, not the three of you.
And see, now, Florida, I think, is doing that, aren't they? Aren't they not holding debates for their primary?
DeSantis kicking ass, man.
Yeah, well, DeSantis is great, but his time is almost up, too.
I know. But his right-hand man's going to be the dude.
You think, I think it's going to be Donaldson.
I'm going for his right-hand man.
I don't know. Byron Donaldson is I've met him. He's window dressing.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any depth to the guy at all. He's a glad hander, just like the current governor of Arkansas.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's.
It's really hard for the regular American, to really know the ins and outs of this, because society just keeps everybody really busy. Like me, myself, like I got 3 kids, I got a full-time job, I go to church and I try to serve the community. And it's like, how are we supposed to even know about this stuff?
I'm retired and I'm on the air 11 hours a week and I don't have time to keep up with it.
It's a lot. I mean, they've done a good job at keeping us not knowing.
Well, that's why I stay active. I mean, that's why I'm posting on X, I'm posting on Facebook, posting on Truth Social. I'm on the air. I make all kinds of short videos and send them out there. You have to keep in front of people every single day, or they just don't watch it, don't listen anymore.
It's not going to come by accident. You got to do the work, just like with everything else.
That's right. That's right. People think selling books on Amazon is easy. It's not. Let me tell you, I've been at it for a long, long time.
Yeah. And it's just the small little steps, right? Small little steps, and then you'll be in a final destination. But if you don't take those small steps and doing little things each day, then
you have to do what you're inspired to do. You wake up, you pray, and then the Lord says, this is what you're going to do today.
That's right.
And you better well do it.
Yeah.
Because, I believe many are called, but few choose.
Right. I think I'm a big believer that he gives each one of us gifts, special gifts. We're all unique. And it's to find your calling, you got to identify what your gifts are. I'm not going to go be a nanny, right? Because that's just not what my gifts are. Like, I'm supposed to be out doing something else. So identify your gifts so you can identify your calling.
But God calls flawed people.
That's right. He does.
He doesn't call gifted people. He calls flawed people and then does miracles with them.
Exactly. I agree.
Very, very well said. Very well said, Brooks, and you, Daniel. Yeah, big time. Jay Collins, just real quick. Jay Collins has to be the next governor of Florida. He's the lieutenant governor. He's DeSantis. He's Ron's right-hand man. Ron wants him, and former special operator. Well, I would get beat up by Bob Austin if I called him a special operator, because there's a difference between special forces and special operator. He's a former Green Beret, total patriot, and he's our lieutenant governor, and he is Ron DeSantis. You know, so I mean, that's who I hope wins. Yeah. Florida continues in greatness if we get Jay Collins to follow DeSantis.
Yeah, even with all the commies moving down here, I don't see us going blue. I mean, it's just with the what happened with DeSantis from winning 30,000 votes to winning what 1.2 million votes. I mean,
well, you had a bunch of red people move there, which kind of tilted the balance. I mean, he barely beat a crackhead found unconscious in a motel room.
A cross-dressing crackhead, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, 4 years later, he had 2 million more, red-pilled people move into his state.
Yeah, and it was after COVID too, and obviously we did stuff much different here.
Yeah, I think DeSantis should be allowed to be governor of every state.
How about president? Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't be. I think he might make it up there one day. I mean, we'll see.
Looks like Marco Rubio may have a better shot.
I think Marco is going to be the next president, but that's just my opinion. Some people say Vance, but I think Marco is going to beat him.
I don't know. My money is wherever Brooks says. I guarantee you.
I followed Marco Rubio in 2015 into 2016. I was kind of a Cruz guy. I went to an event where Cruz spoke. Marco refused to show up. He was kind of shallow about it. Mark Levin was there. Sean Hannity was there. Michelle Malkin was there. I shook hands with all of them, got to know them all. And I leaned away from Ted Cruz that night because he had the spiral energy. I asked a couple questions and he went around and kind of dodged the question. And I thought, you know what? This isn't the guy. Right. And that's when I started looking at Donald Trump. And 16 days later, Donald Trump was nominated, May 26th.
Yeah,
and,
Brooks.
He became the nominee.
Ted Cruz is a Canadian.
Yes, he is. But the issue is I thought he was the premier statesman of our day. But that's what he is. And him and Marco Rubio were just senators, and they were just bitching back and forth who sponsored what bill and back and forth. And I thought Rubio's not it either.
Yeah, you know what Rubio
does? He's lost in politics.
Rubio does something very similar to Trump, that he doesn't pander to anybody or any audience, which is exactly what I think the American people want. We don't, even if, I don't know, they're not telling the exact truth. They don't, word salad all their questions. They'll just tell you exactly what it is, take it or leave it.
Well, I don't think senators make very good presidents. I think governors make better presidents, but
That's
I think businessmen make great presidents.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you think maybe...
Where's your proof, Brooks?
Well, I just don't think senators make good presidents.
No, I'm being flippant. Where's your proof of businessmen being great presidents?
Obama.
Donald Trump. And I still maintain that this is his third term.
I'm with you.
Served one term in exile.
Oh, yeah. I don't think...
interesting that's when Roger got the call.
I know.
So here's a real question. Is he allowed to serve another term?
I think that amendment to the Constitution was written because of Roosevelt, that he was a Democrat, and they were afraid that the country was going to swing the other way, which it did, and they didn't want a Republican to be able to run for 4 terms. So that's why they passed that amendment.
Yeah, I could see that.
And it's probably still good because, I mean, there's...
I think the Supreme Court would overturn it because... Yeah. The president is the only position in the entire country that is actually chosen by the people.
That's true.
And I think Article 2 says that's it. If the people want him to be president, he's president. Article 2 doesn't say diddly squat about terms for the president.
That's true. That's true. I mean, I'm with you on that. And
We'll see what happens.
Huh?
We'll see what happens. Even though he is, I think he's tired.
Well, you got McConnell serving for what, 82 years?
Yeah.
You got Pelosi served for 112 years. Why can't the president serve until he's incompetent?
Yeah.
Or you just put Biden in, who's incompetent to begin with.
Well, that was a case where we elected an incompetent, but usually,
Right.
when you're 80 years old, you should start slowing down. But I don't see Trump slowing down much.
Oh, no,
What did you? What did you guys talk about before I joined you?
We were talking about how we don't like Ian Trottier and hope he never comes back on the show, and how he Roger was like, I can't believe I actually wrote a foreword for this douche. No, I'm just kidding. And no, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Brooks and Daniel, but while we were waiting for you to join us in all this, Roger gave us a hell of a trip from JFK all the way up to now.
I mean, I'm gonna have to go back and watch to see, in detail what he was saying.
It was incredible. You got to go back and listen too, Ian, because it was just a history lesson of reality. From
what was the biggest takeaway from what he gave you?
The coup started in November of 1963 and continued all the way up to Reagan. And, and then I said, and then in January of 2017, Obama pulled the intelligence community together, the most powerful the world has ever known, and aimed them at President Trump. That was treason. And of course, he agreed with me. He said everybody in that meeting should hang.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. What was the tie-in with Nixon? Did he bring up Nixon?
Oh, yeah. Yes, he did.
What did he say about Nixon?
Well, he said Nixon tried to do something about the CIA. He was aware of it, and the CIA did a silent coup against him. They already knew about Watergate before it ever happened. In fact, 4 of their people were in on it at the time that it happened. Of course, they didn't go to jail, but my buddy G. Gordon Liddy went to jail. Yeah, absolutely. They took him out.
Yep.
And then one thing I like about Roger Stone is he got politically involved under Goldwater, and before he got involved in Nixon, he was involved with Goldwater's campaign. And what I like about Goldwater, of course, was he was vehemently opposed, from my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, to the Federal Reserve System.
Oh.
Yeah, that was. I've heard the same, Ian. So.
Yeah.
I've heard the same.
That's how Roger Stone had gotten involved politically. So that's always stuck with me because I'm you talk about Prime Day, and Chris, I have an agreement with Chris to publish my first book, which is called No More Lies. And it was due to publish, but Whitney Webb's book on Epstein jumped it in line, and then I got back to Chris and publishing it, and he didn't have a working editor at the time, so we waited, and I haven't been able to connect with him in a couple of years now. But
you want me to give you his number?
That was actually what's that?
You need his number?
I've got his number.
Oh, okay.
No, I've got his number. I've called the office, and I don't think I have his cell, so if you want to pass that along to me.
Yeah, I got a cell. Yeah, so I'll send it over to you. Chris is a great guy. He's been on the show like three, 4 times, and of course given us tons of guests. But yeah, Brooks, if you don't, go ahead, Ian.
Yeah, Postal Press has published High Stakes Treason, but Trine Day is, I believe, is a premier publisher because 2 things. When I began my podcast, Discussions of Truth, in 2016, it was a guy named Anthony Sutton, that got me looking into economic and financial corruption in the government. He's a former Stanford Hoover fellow, and the book he wrote as he was as he disclosed the Prescott-Bush involvement in Union Bank funding Nazi Germany, this is the father and grandfather of two former presidents. He was censored by Stanford. And so that he left Stanford, and years later, he teamed up with Chris Mulligan to publish Flushing Out Skull and Bones, which Chris wrote a chapter and his son wrote a chapter. But the book that caught my attention when I was living in Miami about government corruption is a book called The Federal Reserve Conspiracy. Now, a guy named Daniel Estulin, I don't know if you know his name or not.
He's been on the show.
He's been on your show. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So he's published at least one of his books with Trine Day on the Bilderbergs.
Yeah.
And he introduced me to Chris. And then anyway, that's where Mark Shaw, actually bringing things full circle. Mark Shaw's the guy that asked me to write the book.
Nice.
This was back in like 2017. So that's how I wrote that first book. But going back to Goldwater, one of the things I've liked about Stone, and I don't really know his history that much, but before he got involved in the Nixon, in supporting Nixon, and then kind of revealing that whole setup, because I think there's so much critical information, talking about Mockingbird Media, that the average American is not fed regarding Nixon. There's so much negative light on Nixon, but I'd like to learn more and probably read Roger's information on Nixon. But prior to getting involved in Nixon was somehow he was involved in the Goldwater campaign, and Goldwater, of course, was very critical and opposed to from my understanding of the Federal Reserve System. That's important to me because that's one of the early things that got me going and looking into government corruption, because I found Sutton's work. And this all started with investigating the Zika virus there in Miami Beach.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, and Brooks, you and I first met, I think it was at a Clay Clark event.
Yes, that's right.
Right, and Clay was very, very much supportive of vaccine freedoms, not necessarily anti-vax, but freedom of choice. And it was actually, I went to Clay at one point and said, hey, can you get to RFK? Because RFK was writing a book on Anthony Fauci, which is now known as the real Anthony Fauci. That's Skyhorse Publishing.
Yeah.
And I went to Clay because somebody had approached me about getting to RFK, and I says, Clay, can you get to RFK Jr.? And Clay says, yeah, he's been a guest on my show. So that's how RFK Jr. got involved in the Reawaken tour. It was Clay Clark and General Flynn. That was a tour for a few years, I think. I'm not sure exactly what event you and I met at, Brooks, but it was definitely one of those events. And then RFK.
Yeah.
Was it Anaheim? That's when RFK Jr. spoke at Clay's event. Was at the Anaheim.
It wasn't in Anaheim. It was in, I believe, Arizona. Phoenix, maybe.
Oh, okay. All right, so that would have been Mark Fincham as well, where I sat down with Mark. Here's another great, maybe if you know her or not, but her name just slipped my mind. It was coming, Maria Zach. Are you familiar with Maria Zach?
No.
Dude, okay, I will make the introduction. You guys have got to connect with Maria Zach. She is so deep in the voting fraud system. There is a court in Italy that sued her. There's an Italian court. You're talking about, right? So we're talking about Leonardo, right? She gets real deep into Leonardo. And Maria Zach, I brought Maria into that Arizona event and sat her down with Mark Fincham because of the information that she had regarding the voter fraud. His hands were pretty tied. He couldn't do anything. I was trying to get her introduced to Carrie Lake.
Yeah.
But dude, Maria Zach, I'll make that introduction because I think you guys will really enjoy, if she's available.
Yeah, man.
Really enjoy a conversation with her.
Mark Shaw, and how do you spell Zach? Z-A-C-H or
Z-A-C-K.
C-K?
Yeah, Z-A-C-K.
Okay.
Well, I remember Mark telling me, well, Brooks, we're going to go to this special paper that has watermarks in it. It has code written in it. You won't be able to counterfeit the paper. I said, Mark, they're not going to counterfeit the paper. They're going to buy the paper.
Damn straight.
They're going to buy the paper and they're going to print the ballots on that paper. You won't be able to tell, except that all the dots will be covered in exactly the same way, and everything will look like it's been printed on a printer, even the signatures. That's the only way you're going to be able to tell.
Yeah.
And the fact that the paper's never been folded. They didn't care. They didn't care.
That's very well said right there. As far as
that's why the ballots cost $60 a piece.
Yeah.
And I said, you know,
Guys,
we're not talking about millions of ballots, Mark. We're talking about maybe 370,000 ballots spread across the country in key precincts. It's not that hard to do.
No, yeah.
You could have them printed in 3 or 4 hours.
It is feasible, especially with technology and shipping and all that kind of stuff.
They brought in ballots by freaking helicopter.
Right, exactly. I mean, private like drivers and all. But
guys, it's getting pretty dark on my end. I got a battery issue on the phone, so I'm gonna sign off.
Ian, tell
appreciate you guys having me on.
Ian, it's always great having you on, brother. Tell everyone how to get your book, High Stakes Treason, and what else you got going on.
Yeah, highstakestreason.com. You might put an HTTPS. I got an issue with the certificate, so for some reason the hypertext protocol requires an S. But if on a search engine, High Stakes Treason, into a Google or a Yahoo search engine, whatever it may be, you'll get the result. The top result is usually the Amazon. That's where you can buy it. I recommend buying it from me personally. You can Venmo me $35. I pay the shipping and handling, and I send you an autographed copy. It's Ian Trottier, Trottier on Venmo. And of course, I'm heading to Vegas here in about 36 hours. I'll be speaking at the Ahern Hotel on Tuesday.
I like that hotel.
Evening.
Safe travels, even.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
Ian Trottier, everybody. Yeah, man. We'll get Roger back on sometime soon, as long as the world's not ending tonight.
All right, guys. All right, talk soon.
All right, Ian.
See you.
Thank you so much for coming on. Ian Trottier, everybody. High Stakes Treason is the book, and yours truly, not me, but Brooks Agnew wrote a foreword in that book. So that's why you have to buy it, because that's why it matters.
I'm just blown away. I mean, we've been talking about this for 3 months, and I was actually on the same program with Roger Stone. Wow.
There you go. Hey, dude, man, I promised. You're one of the greatest dudes that I know. That you're one of the greatest dudes ever, and I had to get him on for you.
And the really weird thing is, while we're talking, the President of the United States texts him.
I mean, how can you ask for a better birthday
I'm
present?
calling you. Get off that program, and I'm calling you right now.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a better birthday present
crazy.
than that?
That is
No.
crazy.
That's what I'm saying. It's hard to beat that. That's a top-notch present.
I'm
It's a
telling
good
you.
friends you got here.
I'm telling you, Brooks. So I got these two names written down. I'm writing this down because when we get off air, that was a great idea that you had. So I'm going to let producer Tony know we got to do that screenshot of all of us on with Roger. Damn straight.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. What a great idea.
By the way, I'm wearing my Discovery Day, Disclosure Day pin. I went and saw the movie last night.
How was it?
Oh, yeah. How was that?
I was ready for anything, but I really think that Spielberg outdid himself.
Good.
Because the only thing missing from the film is a musical hook. There was no music to it. It was just regular cinematic music. But the plot was actually quite outstanding. One of the things that I identified with is the co-star to Blunt, who did a fantastic job. I mean, multi-levels of performance here for her. The co-star, at 9 years of age, was visited, had a lost time event where he was taken to a ship and he was given the gift of mathematics, of understanding mathematics. So he went through the rest of his life with this huge mathematical gift, didn't know where it came from, forgot totally about the lost time event. It wasn't until later in life that all that was brought back to him and he was able to see it. Same thing happened to Amy. Same thing happened to Amy. And she was given the gift of language, that she could speak to virtually anybody, that she could look at them and know their language and speak to them directly. Indian, Chinese, Korean. She did an amazing job in the movie. But there was a part in the movie where it really grabs your heart, when you really begin to feel the impact of what disclosure is going to mean for the world. And I think Spielberg did a really great job with that.
Yeah, did he touch on like where they might say they were created from?
No. No, in fact, he's pretty clear about that in the movie, because it's answered in the monastery scene. This girl who was a nun and then not a nun, she lost her faith and left the monastery. And she asked the Reverend Mother, about what is this going to mean for the world if this is actually true? Because it says in the Bible that humans are God's,
prize,
perfect prize creation. Right. And the Reverend Mother said, "Oh, you're missing part of it. We're his prize creation on earth."
On earth.
Yeah.
And that's where she got it. Oh, so he may have other creations. And that's why it's not going to make a difference to anybody.
Exactly. That's a good point.
That is I'm so glad you saw that film, Brooks, and to get the result or the opinion initially from you is awesome, because I was really hoping that maybe that was going to be a too cool for school film.
It looked, I have not seen a trailer that has grabbed my attention like that one has. Like, I haven't been to the movie theaters in a long time, and I'm thinking about taking my wife to see that one.
Yeah, it's been
well,
a
when
little bit.
she speaks, she's the weather girl, and all of a sudden she gets this hit that she needs to speak this really weird language. All it basically says is, don't be afraid of what you don't know.
Yeah,
that's what she says in the alien's language.
Yeah. Well,
it's all coming around.
It is.
It really is.
The important part is to not fear them, fear the man.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you can see Brooks, but I love Daniel's hat he has on tonight.
Yes, be free.
Straight
United States,
to the point.
They talk about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And the truth is, the United States government doesn't give that to us. That comes from God, and that is given to every single human being on the face of the planet. And when we talk about freedom, this isn't a freedom like an earthly freedom. We're talking about a heavenly freedom, that when you're in Jesus Christ, you don't have any kind of worries or anything, that it is a true freedom, that anything that happens here is really not meaningful. Or I wouldn't say meaningful, but doesn't really matter compared to what's going to happen in eternity. And so that's where that pursuit of happiness is that when you're in happiness is when you're actually in Jesus Christ. The Bible is always talking about, well, doesn't mention any kind of religious things like Catholicism or Protestant or Greek Methodist.
In fact, it curses the church.
Right. It mentions the word Christian, I think, 3 times, but what it uses majority of the time is Paul will talk to people about, are you in Christ? Like, is Christ in you? Like, are you living like he is the Lord of your life? Like, he makes your decisions. Are you going to make decisions based on you or based on how he wants you to live? And that when you do that, you really have freedom from everything and all the worries, because nothing can affect you when he's in control, when he's leading you.
And the thing that blows me away is a group of teenagers and young adults decided to establish a nation based on those principles.
Isn't that amazing?
Oh, yeah.
First ever. It's never existed on the earth before.
And courage like that is contagious. And that's why it's been 250 years. But that's why I started off this prayer with, like, I pray it all the time to unite the hood and the country, because I think if those are two polar opposites in some aspects, but we have a lot of similarities too. We like our guns, we like to fish and hunt, we like to protect our families. And if the world can see those two people come together, then that can happen anywhere else. And so that's my big prayer that I pray a lot. And
I think the world is coming around to the idea that this is actually a war between demons and children of Christ.
Yes.
And I think the demons are embodied in Islam. Every single country that has an Islamic presence is having trouble.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's just a point.
And you know what's the amazing thing is that there's thousands and thousands of these stories you hear of Jesus appearing to them, like in their dreams, and they're becoming Christians. And it's just, that would not happen without some kind of supernatural work happening. You know, not for it to happen to so many people individually like that.
Well, that and there are individuals like us who bear witness of it all the time, and we're unafraid to do so.
Right.
It's not that we're churchy at all, but we know God.
Yeah.
And we no longer have faith. That's out of the question. We now have knowledge.
Yeah.
And when we share that, it moves people.
Yeah. Our lives have been changed.
That's what it's all about. To do that in a mortal lifetime is a miracle.
It
Absolute
is.
miracle.
And yet you're right. 100%.
Very well said, both of you guys, I tell you. Brooks, let's see here.
By the way, I have the greatest respect for your dad. We have the best time on this program together.
I'm so glad that he's a part of this program. And thank you guys for being there for him. You know, men need men, and it's just good.
Keith is a great guy.
I hear his voice in your voice.
Well, I try to soak up as much wisdom as I can, but you know, I can only take in as much as my brain will let me. So, yes, yeah, I'm very glad that you guys do this, and that you know, that you guys can use your brains and bounce ideas off each other. Isn't that such a beautiful thing that we have the ability to experience that and reason? I can't get over it.
That's a great roundtable we have here. We're really, really great.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, heck yeah. You're the anchor. You're the dude. You know,
You're the pro volleyball player. I'm just the guest.
You're my co-host, man. Scott Hare's my co-host too. He always will be. He'll be back, but then I'll have two co-hosts, and Keith is just might as well be a co-host too. Yeah,
Scott Hare has an amazing mind.
Scott Hare. I told Scotty, actually, Brooks, I asked you not. I told Scott Hare last week while we were talking, I said, I don't think you understand. Brooks thinks you are brilliant and really loves you and really misses you. Yeah. I told him that because it's the truth.
Amen. Let's edify each other. Let's build each other up so that we can go take on the evil.
That's right. And you know what, Brooks, just real quick before we get out of here, and everyone needs to know how to go to brooksagnew.com. How would you do that? Maybe. Anyway, but before we get out of here, I just need to let you know, Brooks, that it's pretty cool because Keith, I did not know when Keith first introduced me to his son, Daniel, I had no idea that his son, right, that you knew the mutual friend of Keith and I that introduced us to each other, which was really cool.
Yeah,
Adam Candella, man, and he was a great guy. He's no longer with us, but great guy, and the world misses him. But he was, you know, he was just a great guy, man. So.
Did you cook tonight? That's what I really want to know. Did you cook?
I did red pill pasta tonight.
And man, was it amazing. You want to talk about gifts? I'm not sure that he should be spending so much time on the microphone. He might do some more better work cooking for somebody or something.
I'm going to be Brooks's private chef.
I need a private chef.
There you go.
I don't eat well at all. I eat maybe a meal and a half if I'm lucky. I just don't have time. I don't get hungry.
Yeah. Yeah,
I have to eat because I realize my blood sugar is getting low and I probably should eat something. So
Yeah.
Adam Earth named it red pill pasta. So I mean, it's a hard dish to describe. It's a tomato based sauce with an Alfredo kind of mixed in, but rendered down bacon, red onions, garlic, seasoning, pan sauteed chicken breast, and some shredded mozzarella. It's good. Red pill pasta. I didn't have a name for it, and Adam Murphy was like, red pill pasta.
Hey, man, it fits.
Yeah, man.
You know what's crazy is Roger Stone comes on and says, I normally don't take interviews, least of all 10 o'clock at night, but I can't let this one pass up.
Yeah.
So we're half an hour into it. It's 10:30 at night, and President Trump calls.
Is that not?
What the hell? We're not talking about noon.
Yeah.
It's 10:30 at night.
Yeah, something's happening as we speak.
Always going, always going.
Unbelievable, yeah. And plus, I don't know whether to be mad at Trump.
I know.
Well, I'm mad for him not coming on the program.
Hey.
And saying, I apologize, guys. I have to take Roger away from you. You're doing a great job. I listen to you all the time. You're doing a great job. Thanks very much. That would have been great.
Yeah, a little recognition.
Well, hey, listen. There might be a thing where I could maybe give a text to our friend Roger and say, if your best friend of 50 years maybe ever wants to come on the show.
5 minutes, 4 minutes.
Yeah.
That's all it would take.
30 seconds, just 30 seconds. So Brooks gets one question, we don't get anything.
Yeah.
You better think hard
I'll
about that
definitely
question,
ask
Brooks.
about the Emergency Election Infrastructure Act.
Yeah.
He'll say, how did you know about that?
Exactly, right?
Yeah. So
Brooks, first off, Daniel, thank you so much for coming in tonight. We're going to get ready to get out of here.
I'm honored to be here, and it's an honor to talk to everyone here today. It was very good.
You did a great job. It's the first time he's ever done something like this, and I think he jumped in and
There's the best testimony of a great dad to
Yeah.
get to meet the great son.
Man,
perfect.
Well, I'm happy to be here, and thank you guys.
BrooksAgnew.com. What are they looking for this week at BrooksAgnew.com?
I have updated my book on Convention of States. It was called Alienated Nation. I wrote it in 2012. 1 week later, it was #1 on Amazon. It started a movement which now has 6.5 million people across the country called Convention of States. We are about to pull off a convention led by the states that will amend the Constitution and we hope fix this mess that we have in Washington. The Congress won't be able to do anything about it because this is in Article 5 of the Constitution. Well, I redid the cover and I rewrote the preface. So hopefully it gets another shot in the arm and we get the last 6 states that we need to sign the resolution so we can have the convention.
Very, very well said, Brooks. And also tomorrow night, Sunday nights and Wednesday nights, tell them how to listen to your program, and of course, Coast to Coast tomorrow night, 3 a.m. Eastern time. So
right. Well, you can go to coasttocoast.com, coasttocoastam.com, and you can listen to me and Richard Surrett. He's an old friend of mine.
Good host.
We've known each other for a long time. And you can also listen to my program on Wednesday nights and Sunday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern time. It's called America Free Radio. And you can go to my website at brooksagnew.com. All the links are there, but you can also search for it on Rumble and YouTube and Twitch and DLive and Foxhole and Truth Refugee Radio.
very, very nice. Daniel, say goodnight to Brooks before we get out of here, man.
All right, Brooks. This won't be the last time, I'm sure, we speak, and it was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank goodness. Same here. It was my pleasure.
Dr. Brooks Agnew right there, folks, my great co-host, and brooksagnew.com. Brooks, of course, speak very, very soon with you. For our elusive engineer, webmaster, and producer, Tony, the Sentinel, Scott Hare, Adam Earth, Lieutenant Keith Temple, and, of course, you just heard his son, Daniel, right here, and the great Bob Austin, Dr. Brooks Agnew. Until next time, let justice be done till the heavens fall. On truth, this is the one and only Earth We don't have our outro music tonight. Don't worry about it.